Let's take a closer look at proportions. Remember, a proportion is a comparison of two ratios or two rates that are equal to each other. For example, 3 is to 5 as 6 is to 10, which can be represented as the fraction 3/5 equals 6/10. Be careful. When you're presented with what looks like a proportion, you need to check to see if the two ratios or the two rates do form a proportion. Let's check to see if these are proportions. Let's use cross multiplication to check them. 2 times 9 is 18. 4 times 3 is 12. 18 does not equal 12. So this one is not a proportion. Let's try another one. 3 times 12 is 36. 9 times 4 is 36. 36 equals 36. If the cross product is equal, then the two fractions are equal, and therefore they are a proportion. Okay, let's try another one. Does 1/3 equal 2/6? 1 times 6 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 equals 6. This is definitely a proportion. One last try. 5 times 7 is 35. 4 times 8 is 32. 32 does not equal 35. So these two fractions are not equal. Therefore, they are not showing us a proportion. Here, we would like to find the value of x that would make the two fractions a proportion. We will use cross multiplication and solve for x. 2 times 32 equals 64. 16 times x equals 16x. When the cross product is equal on both sides, then we know that the value of x is the value that will make both fractions equal a proportion. Because x is a missing factor, we will solve for x by dividing. 64 divided by 16 is 4. X equals 4. Let's try another one. 3/4 equals x over 20, but we don't know what value of x will make this a proportion until we solve it. 4 times x is 4x. 3 times 20 is 60. Again, x is a missing factor, so we'll use division to solve for x. 60 divided by 4 is 15. Let's try another one. 15 times x is 15x. 5 times 18 is 90. We will divide by 15 on both sides. 90 divided by 15 is 6. One more. 15 times 8 is 120. 24 times x is 24x. Divide both sides by 24. 120 divided by 24 equals 5. Now that we have solved our proportions, I have written in the answers in the proportions themselves. It's always a good idea to check. So let's use cross product to check our answers. 2 times 32 is 64. 16 times 4 is 64. So the cross product answers are equal, meaning that the two fractions form a proportion. Let's do the next one. 15 times 4 is 60. 3 times 20 is 60. 60 equals 60. The answer to the cross product is equal, so the two fractions form a proportion. Let's do another one. 15 times 6 is 90. 5 times 18 is 90. 90 equals 90, so I know these two fractions form a proportion. One more. 15 times 8 is 120. 5 times 24 is 120. 120 equals 120. So I know that these two fractions form a proportion.